We are now joined by Bethany softball coach Dan Nessler. How are you doing, Coach?
Doing good, Brock. Thank you.
You're getting ready to go to Arizona tomorrow, is that correct?
Yeah, we leave at 12:30 on the bus. Looking forward to it.
But you already played 10 games going into Arizona. Have you ever played that many games before going to Arizona?
No, we haven't. We've played as many as 6, but having this new MSU bubble is really good for us. I tried to play more. Reason being, it seems like we always get snow or rain or something that kind of dampens our schedule a little bit once we get outside. So I tried to get as many non-conference games done inside as possible so we can try to get all 40 games in.
You're 4-6 in those first 10 games. You've had some tough competition. What have you seen in those 10 games? What do you learn about your team so far?
Well, I think 4-6 is pretty solid through those 10 games. I mean, they're good teams. When you look at who we've played, teams out of the MIAC are good. St. Olaf is a good team. They've got a 2-time All-American pitcher, Julie Graff, and we saw her in both games, and, she's a challenge, St. Ben's is really, really good. I look for them to be rated in the top 25 anytime soon here. Then you get to Buena Vista. We split with them, and they're a good team out of the American River Conference. You get to Hamlin. They finished second in the MIAC last year in the conference tournament to St. Thomas. And then River Falls, who we happened to sweep. So really, I think, a tough schedule, and it might only get tougher now on our way to Arizona.
So you talked about the MSU facility. You played most of your games there. Has your team played on turf before this year?
Yes, Northwestern in our conference has a turf field, and once in a while when we do have bad weather, like for example last year at Morris, we played on their football field, and we did that at Northland. They have a turf field. So we do occasionally, and then of course we've played in the bubbles every year where we go up to Dundas, who has a bubble, or West St. Paul, and there's others up in the metro. So we have played games on turf, yes, and it's just good because with our weather in the Midwest, it's hard to get started before April 1, and then you can't get all your games in, so you have to get inside somehow, some way.
How big do you think that helps you with recruiting now at that MSU bubble?
I think it's good. We've had it gives us a selling point, especially if we try to continue to get out-of-state kids, California kids like we have some. They're worried about the cold, right, when they come to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So we can tell them, hey, we play inside, or then once we get outside, it's nice. But I think it's really good. When we've played our games in the MSU bubble, we've had recruits at virtually every game. So they can come watch us. They can come see how we compete with good teams, and I think that's an advantage.
You talk about recruiting. You have a lot of players from California. Zoe Kanakian is from Victoria, British Columbia. Cassidy Cunningham's from Canada too, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
So how do you recruit all these people from all over the place?
Well, early on when I came to Bethany, I did a mailing to junior college coaches in California and also the Phoenix, Tucson area, just trying to tell them who I am, where I've been, and what I was trying to accomplish. Did I get a lot of responses? No, but I got a couple from California, and it just spurred me to go out on a visit out there. So I went out and tried to meet as many junior college coaches as I could, especially in the northern part, which is where I had a little bit of a foothold. So we wound up getting Haley Sobrero to come first from Shasta College. And now this year we've got 2 more from Shasta, Alyssa Costa and Tara George. The Zoe Kanakin connection is a little different. Her club coach and school coach is Rocky Vitale. I played against Rocky back when I was a player, and so we had a connection there. And so I've been reaching out to all the people that know me from my playing days that are coaches, and try to keep those relationships going and just see who might have a player that's a good fit. And it just so happened that Zoe was a great fit for here. She's a high academic kid, a pre-med kid, and she wanted to play soccer and softball, and you just can't do that at very many places. And Bethany just happens to be one where we can make it work for her.
Yeah, that's really nice. You talked about Haley Sobrero, Zoe Kanakin. They're really starting off the season on a hot note. Both have been Player of the Week in the UMAC early on. They're both hitting over 400. How have they been so successful to start this year?
Well, they're just good players. I believe both of those kids are kids that had they been seen by the right coaches here or there or wanted to do it, could maybe play at a higher level. They could maybe play at the D2 level. They've got those types of skills. But, there's always circumstances as to why kids wind up at D3, right? Especially if they could play higher. Is it because of academics? Is it because they want to be a multi-sport athlete? In Haley Sobrero's case, she hurt her knee her senior year of high school. So some opportunities that maybe she was going to have maybe kind of had to get put on hold until she healed. And long story short, at the end of the day, we were lucky enough to get her. But both of those kids are just phenomenal players, phenomenal kids, and we feel blessed to have them in our program.
Yeah, they played well last year too. Are there any players that are surprising you? Maybe they didn't have a big season last year, or maybe they're transferred new players that kind of came in and you're surprised how well they've developed.
Well, I'm not sure I've had surprises. Tara George came in from Shasta College as well. And Tara was a great hitter at Shasta, so I kind of expected her to be a great hitter here, and she's continuing to do that. We've kind of put her in a position where she was a pitcher in high school and she did not pitch at Shasta, but because of some injuries and a transfer, we needed somebody to pitch. And so I asked Tara if she would pitch, and she said sure, and she's working hard at it. Still trying to gain her confidence in a lot of areas, but she's doing good, and she's been really, really good. I think Anna Hoffman, too, last year as a freshman, she maybe hit, 320 or something like that, but she's hitting close to 400 now, too. She's at 391. She's a good hitter. And I'm excited for those kids that put in the time, put in the work, and start to see the benefits of it.
You talked about losing your top two pitchers last year. Cassidy Cunningham's come in, and she's looking like your ace. What have you seen from her?
Yeah, she is. She's doing really well. She came from Bottineau, North Dakota Junior College. Again, it was I saw her pitch last May after we were done with our season. I went to the Junior College National Tournament over in Rochester, Minnesota. Saw her pitch there, and long story short, wound up reaching out to just try to see what her interest level would be for coming next year after her sophomore year at Bottineau. And she wound up saying, well, what if I wanted to come this year and play 3 years at Bethany? And I said, well, that would be awesome, if that's what you want. Anyways, she I think was a little nervous, just trying to fit into a new team. She didn't come until the break in January, so she wasn't here for the fall semester. And neither was Liz Milam. They both came at the break. So I think there was a little transition there, learning a new team, learning new friends, learning new coaches. But I think she's settling in now, and she knows how to pitch. She's going to be really good here long term. And I think we just kind of – it's hard to really judge your success when you play really good teams right out of the gate, and you're trying to get your footing still. And I think that's where she was at. But now that she's starting to get her footing, I think we're going to see her really take off.
I see Zoe Kanakin's starting to pitch a little bit too, and you talked about George and Costa. What's the difference between softball and baseball? You obviously use less pitchers. Is there a pitch count even in softball, or how does that work really for you when you manage the game?
No, there's not. We still keep track of pitch count, especially some of these kids like Zoe and Alyssa and Terry that haven't pitched for a couple of years. But we're going to keep trying to keep all four of them throwing, try to get all of them in pitching shape. The underhand throwing motion is a lot easier on your arm than the overhand throwing motion. So softball teams need way less pitchers than baseball teams. The Bethany baseball team probably, has 20 pitchers. But we, again, Zoe's another one. We've got some kids that we're asking to pitch that pitched in high school because of a few circumstances. We had Shelby Blumendahl last year was a freshman that decided to transfer closer to home and go to Southwest State, so she's playing there. And then Bria Majeski, who was our ace number one pitcher last year, is still at Bethany, but she had to have surgery on her hip, on her labrum in December. So she's probably out for the year, I would assume. But, our hope is that even next year, Bria has one more year of school here at Bethany, and we're hopeful we're going to get her back, But it's just one of those things that we kind of got caught a little bit short on the pitching side. Cassidy's coming along, and Zoe and Tara and Alyssa are working hard at it, and I think we're going to get there.
That's awesome. We're Let's get on to Arizona. You came here. You told me there's a lot of checklists for Arizona, so it's an exciting time, but a lot of work too. Can you explain the process here these last couple of days leading up to Arizona?
Yeah, just I got my checklist of everything. As you can imagine, trying to get 17 players, 4 coaches, and a trainer to Arizona and back for a full week takes a little bit of planning. So, between hotels and flights, and do we have all of our gear and uniforms and and even now today, I honestly went out to find some sanitary wipes and hand sanitizer and that kind of thing, because we're going to have a discussion with what's going on in the world today with the coronavirus and everything else, as to say I don't think we need to be afraid of domestic travel right now, but I think we have to be smart about our domestic travel and germs and what's all going on. So trying to put enough thought into it that we take care of our whole group. And but we're excited about Arizona. I mean, we've got a great schedule down there. We're going to play really good teams. We can find out a lot about ourselves, where we're at, and we're looking forward to getting on the bus tomorrow at 12:30.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy time because the top 2 trainers that work at Bethany are with the basketball team, so you got different trainers that don't even go to Bethany. Yeah,
we've got 2 different trainers, one going with baseball and one going with softball, but it is what it is. We've had trainers that have had to join us in the past too. So, the girls usually don't mind. When you got a professional trainer, you've got a professional trainer, right? It is what it is. And they usually wind up by the end of the week kind of being part of the group and understanding all the girls and learning all the girls. We have a lot of fun. We're going to do some fun things down in Arizona too, with going to watch some softball games, and we have a family dinner and just a lot of exciting times.
You talked about going to Arizona. You'll face a lot of tough teams. You're going to face the number 1 overall team in the country, Texas Lutheran. What's the mindset going against the number 1 team?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. I hope that our girls go out with the mindset that we really don't have anything to lose. Mm-hmm. You might as well go for it. If you don't do that and you play afraid of making a mistake or anything like that, you're going to really get run over pretty hard. But I think it gives us an opportunity to, just like when we played St. Ben's, I think they were a top 25 team. I think in the next couple of weeks you'll see them in the top 25. We got beat pretty good by them both times. We gave up 9, we scored 1 and 2, but that's not a terrible game, And I think when we see Texas Lutheran, who's rated number 1, when we see Illinois Wesleyan, who's rated number 5, we're going to find out. It gives you a chance to find out in a hurry who is ready to compete with those level teams and who's not. And I think we can learn that from our roster too.
So do you set up those games, or do you for that, or to try to get you ready for UMAC to see better teams, or who does the schedule really?
I do the schedule. And honestly, I tried to beef up our strength of schedule this year, but that's probably when I still thought I had everybody coming back. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you make your schedule and all of a sudden things happen just like life, and you don't have everybody coming back. So, in hindsight, is that too bad? Is it? I don't know what it is, but I believe that the kids we have can go compete there. We didn't have a whole lot of choice on our schedule down there. They've got the leadoff classic going on right now. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is the top 20, 25 teams in the country get invited to that. So all the best teams are down there. So some of them are going to kind of linger and still be there. That's why we're getting to play them Monday, Tuesday, because they're still down there. So there was only about maybe 10 or 12 different D3 teams to play when we were down there. So I have some say in what we get, but I don't have much say. They kind of say, here's what you have to take, because everybody has a different request on what days they can play, what times they can play before they get on a flight and leave. So it kind of starts to narrow it down where they kind of say, here's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Thanks for taking us inside there. Would you mind doing some rapid fire Arizona questions right here?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what's your favorite place to eat in Arizona when you get there?
Oh my gosh. We went to a place called Sweet Tomatoes. It's like a huge buffet that really has everything. It's a huge salad bar, soups. They've got gluten-free stuff. They got gluten-free lemon muffins to die for. I'm not gluten-free, but we have some kids that are.
Okay.
So I thought I got to try one of them. They're really good. I'd have to say Sweet Tomatoes. Yep.
Okay. Do you have any traditions when you get down there? You have to go somewhere, do something, buy some souvenir?
Well, the last few years we've kind of started where we always go to, if they're in town, we go watch games at the University of Arizona. So last year we watched the University of Arizona play Florida State. Really good game. This year I think we're going to watch the University of South Dakota play Southern Illinois or somebody like that at the University of Arizona, because that's the timing of when we can go. So we always go see a game. And a tradition we started last year was we started a family dinner. We've got some parents that thought that would be a good idea and have helped out to put that thing together. And so our whole team will be there, and then any family members. And honestly, 4 years ago when I started, we had some family members go, but it was probably in the 10 neighborhood. Our family dinner this time, we've got 22 in our traveling party, like I said, 17 players, 4 coaches, and a trainer. But there's 67 people that are going to be at our family dinner. That's just amazing to me. We've got 45 family, friends, or people that support the program coming to a family dinner in Arizona, and that's just awesome.
All right, last one. What do you do on the plane usually?
Well, on the way there, I'm still thinking about getting everything ready, and on the way back, I'm usually ready to sleep because I've had a 7-day trip where I'm in charge of way too many people, and I take that responsibility seriously. And by the end of it, I'm kind of wiped out.
Yeah, well, like you said, you had a lot on your checklist. I appreciate we're one of your options, and you came to talk to us today, and good luck in Arizona.
Thanks, Brock. Thanks for having me.